Welcome to the Actor's Choice, where the actors and actresses have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting by actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, direct from Hollywood, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Brewington, and welcome to the Actor's Choice.
Next order of business, Lisa would like to put in a little moat in her yard. Oh, and with the drawbridge from the sidewalk to the front door.
I've always dreamed of being a princess.
All in favor?
Aye.
Eyesore.
Claire, did you say something?
I'm sorry, you're just gonna rubber stamp Princess Lisa here, and I can't have a she shed in my backyard?
Could you please wait your turn? We haven't moved on to new business yet.
I thought we were gonna see mummies and shrunken heads. If I see one more urn, I'm gonna lose it.
Broaden your horizons, Barry.
The material was common. So painted wood statues were common during all dynasties of the Old Kingdom. This decorative herb from the 13th century was from Pharaoh Akhenaten to his first wife.
But you're not really interested in any of this, are you, Barry?
What the hell?
Hey, honey, you're not gonna believe
Go
this.
through
This
the
thing
door on your right.
You speak our tongue, but you're not one of us. You are weak. Do you really think you can defeat a god?
God in an out-of-shape 50-year-old's body?
Today we were supposed to have Takia Crystal Kamar. She called me just a few moments ago. She's in the studio right now. These things do happen, ladies and gentlemen, every now and then. So my second guest today was raised in Eugene, Oregon, then in DeKalb, Illinois, and then in Williamsburg, Virginia. He's a self-professed faculty brat. He graduated from Northwestern University with a double major in theater and philosophy. This gentleman has made Los Angeles, California his primary home since 1997. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with 86 IMDb's veteran actor, Rob Nagle.
Thank you very much.
Rob, thank you very much for being here.
Thank
what a
you,
pleasure.
Ron.
These things happen sometimes.
I'm sorry that I'm the answer for everyone out there, but I'm glad that I'm here.
These things happen.
I think we'll have enough to talk about.
Oh, yeah, got plenty of things to come. By the way, I noted that you are a proud member of a group called the, let me say this right, Antaeus Company, as well as Troubadour Theater Company.
Mm-hmm.
Can you please tell our good listeners and viewers about what these organizations are?
Well, they're two of the, as far as I'm concerned, two of the finest theaters in Los Angeles. The Antaeus Theater Company was founded somewhere around 1991 as a classical theater company. So they've got a very deep bench of some brilliant actors. The Troubadour Theater Company, I'm not sure when it was founded, but it's probably about 25 years old now, maybe 20 years old, and was founded by a brilliant man named Matt Walker, who did mashups of classic plays. So I started working with Matt on a production of Fleetwood Macbeth, and then we did A Midsummer Saturday Night's Fever Dream and Two Gentlemen of Chicago and Abba Memnon. He basically takes live music and mashes it up in sort of a modern commedia style, so you have clowning and improv and acrobatics and dance, and it's like the two, between Antaeus and the Troubadour, it's like these completely polar opposites, but both creating some really interesting and really wonderful work, and somehow I lucked out into being a part of both of them.
Whenever we get someone to come in here and they're with either one of those organizations, there's like a glow on those people.
My wife says, I like it when you work with the Troubies. You're happy with them. And it's because we're just clowning around. We're goofing around the whole time. We work very hard, but the result is just a really free improvisational experience. And Antaeus just makes me feel legitimized. So when you say veteran actor, I think, who's that? Who's that guy?
With 86 IMDb,
well,
heck, been around.
You stay around long enough, people take kindly to you, and they give you some pity roles. You know, they just say, "Here, you should work. It's been a while."
Yeah, and you working regular, see?
Getting there, still in it.
Yeah,
still in it. I tell people, living the dream. I'm living the dream. They ask how I'm doing. I'm living the dream.
Really?
And they say, that's great. And I said, I didn't say it was a good dream this week. This could be a really bad dream. It's like the light at the end of the tunnel. You think it's the light, like the sun, but it could be a train. You never know.
Right, you never.
But I do love my field, and I do love what I do. And the 16-year-old me really thinks I'm pretty cool.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Good deal. I also see you like acting. You know, that's an understatement, you know. Not only on TV and film, but on stage as well. You've never met me until today.
Yeah.
But my bone about some actors is the fact that they don't want to get up on that stage. I get mad at them. What is their problem?
I think everybody comes to storytelling in different ways, and I came to it through, being in school and reading things out loud and realizing I was a good reader and I had a good sense of timing for comedy, and people would laugh. So it was about, oh, look, I'm getting attention. I can be the shy kid who I really was, but then when I wanted to perform, I could actually let myself kind of roar a little bit. And I think a lot of people come into acting in other ways, so they find an interest in on-camera work. So they've never actually set foot on a stage. I don't understand that because I come from a different place, but I think there's a real fear involved.
It doesn't hurt you?
It doesn't hurt you, but it's scary. It's scary to stand up there and think, what if my brain stops working in the middle and all of a sudden I think about a grocery list and I've forgotten my lines, and that happens. Well, then that's called corpsing, and you corpse, you go up on lines.
New term, corpsing.
And you basically die on stage, and you have to find a way out. You can't say cut. You can't pick it up with a pickup shot, and you just have to kind of barrel through. And so I think it trains you to realize that there's no way to fail if you find your way through it.
Okay.
Sort of like improvisational comedy. There's no failure in that. There's just when you start doubting yourself. So you have to find a way through the mistakes. Sometimes the mistakes are magical and glorious and wonderful. Some of their best moments in film you probably see are on camera, are moments that were captured that weren't supposed to be there.
Right.
Midnight Cowboy, that taxi cab that almost hits Dustin Hoffman and John Voight. It comes into that guy wasn't in the movie. He was just driving through because they were on a low budget. And all of a sudden you got Dustin as Ratso saying, "We're walking here, we're walking here." It wasn't written in the movie. It just happened. And you have to be responsive enough to, as we are in conversation, responsive enough to external input to make your way through it and make it seem real.
Do you have Shakespeare training?
I do. I am faculty brat, as you said. My dad and my mom were both teachers, and my dad was a dean at different universities. He was the dean of School of Education, so he taught teachers to teach, the way I described it. And when we moved from Illinois to Virginia at the age I was 13, terrible time to move a kid. 13? I don't want to live through that year again. That was a tough one. And we got to Virginia, and the first year was a little rough going into 8th grade, but the second year I discovered the Virginia Shakespeare Festival, and I became an intern there when I was 14 years old, and I did my first Shakespeare's at that time. Messengers in the big shows, they had a children's version, a kid's version of the Shakespeare Festival, so I was doing the Comedy of Errors and Romeo and Juliet and Taming of the Shrew at 15, 16. Not well. I'm sure I was bad. I'm sure I didn't know what the clarity of the words were at the time, but I was doing Shakespeare as a teenager. And trying to kind of figure it out. So yeah, I started very young. So Shakespeare's like kind of like a second-hand language to me. I love it when I get a chance to do it.
There is something about you actors that I love. They're always smiling and grinning. They're always checking with each other. They help each other out. Yeah. When times are good for one, you help them out. When times are bad, you help them out.
That's true.
That's what y'all do.
Well, we spend our lives walking in other people's shoes. That's our whole goal. So if there's not at the baseline of who we are some kind of empathy and some kind of compassion, then we're not going to do our jobs very well. Even when we're playing evil characters,
Gotcha.
You've got to find a humanity in them. So we walk in with a little bit of compassion. And I think the smile that you're talking about is that we're just giddy that we've gotten away with it this far, and that we've gone into some kind of field that's no profession for an adult person. We're still playing make-believe on the playground. So we're happy because we're like, ha, we did it. We're not doing a real job.
You make me ask a question that comes to my mind. Academy Award. Do you think for some strange reason that people who are stage actors get more of a consideration? I don't know, than say somebody else that doesn't?
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I think of the entertainment industry, for lack of a better word, our field sort of gives stage acting a leg up. They sort of feel like, oh, you're legitimate. In the same way that, oh, you do Shakespeare, you're legitimate. If I do Shakespeare poorly, I'm not legitimate. If I do stage work poorly, I'm not legitimate. But something about that, the same way that, film actors rarely did television.
Right.
Because TV was not really the same thing. Film was higher than TV. So there's always some kind of weird laddered hierarchy that people are trying to work with. In fact, in this town, I've been here for 23 years. Good Lord, I'm old. 23 years. And I still kind of try to tell friends and students of mine when I teach that, like, it's not a ladder. You're not going up and down a ladder. This is a lifestyle choice. You run this direction. So it's not about climbing and, oh, now I'm doing film and no longer doing TV. Al Pacino's got his new show on, right? He's on television now.
Yes, he is.
And Hunters is out, and it's good. Storytelling is storytelling, no matter where you do it, whether you're in a 35-seat house in a black box theater in North Hollywood or on the biggest budget movie being shot, with Harrison Ford out in Santa Clarita pretending they're in the Klondike, Call the Wild. So I think it's, we try to do a different range, but I do think there's a sort of in the back of people's pockets, in the back of their minds, there's oh, you're a stage actor, so you should probably get the award. You're better. You can do that. Wow. It's fine with me.
Yeah.
I don't mind them that. I'll take it.
Wow. Oh, thank you. I got a little lesson. Because you said you were teaching. Where do you teach at?
I teach at a couple of different schools, conservatories in Hollywood, one called Theater of Arts and one called Art of Acting. And I also teach at my home theater company, the Antioch Theater Company. So I kind of dance around with that. And that only happened about 10 years ago, less than 10 years ago.
Got you.
I tell you this because I told you my dad was a teacher.
Yes.
When I was in my freshman year of college, I remember I was looking at a book. I bought a book from a theater bookshop called the Graduate Schools for Theater. And I was talking on the phone with my parents, and I said I was going through this book, and my dad said, the academic said, what are you going through that book for? And I said, well, I thought I might want to look at grad schools and see I might want to teach. And he said, oh, kiddo, don't do that. Don't sell yourself short. You need to go out there and be an actor. And I thought my dad had been abducted by aliens. I was like, who's on the phone with me right now? But it was a formative moment where I realized, he's right, I need to go out and figure out how I do what I do before I teach what I do. And then 20 years later, I find myself teaching. So I got lucky by not going into a direction that would have taught me how to teach acting, but rather how to act first.
Right. One thing about being a teacher, I'm a teacher myself.
Do you?
I teach broadcasting and journalism, other things like that, communications. You find that the students sometimes they want to hang you to the wall. Yeah. You learn; it keeps you ahead of.
Yeah, and I mean, I know it sounds cliche or it sounds like they were just making that up. That it's so much good for us as teachers, but it really is. It juices me like nothing else. I mean, I think it's the second favorite thing I do, is when I get to teach, because I get to help people watch people from the outside perspective and help them find their breakthroughs into their own work.
Gotcha.
Make stronger choices and just be better and feel better about what they do. Yeah, it's pretty good. When did you start teaching?
Long years ago. I was in the Navy, of course. I taught in the
Right.
Navy, and then, of course, I moved out. I came out of the Navy, and then started teaching different schools, and had a good time. Love it.
Yeah.
Nothing like teaching.
It's nothing like it, yeah.
Yeah, because they come in there, Mr. Brewington, you gotta have your sugar honey iced tea together. You can't walk in there and mess up.
No, you can't.
Right,
You got to at least look like you know what you're doing.
Exactly. They will write letters to their mother and their father and to the administrator. Hey, he didn't know what he's talking about.
My mom's on the phone.
Yeah,
Can
right.
you talk to her?
Give me a break.
Yeah, back off.
Wow. Rob, after reading your bio, I see that you definitely earned those 86 IMDb credits. A lot of people ask, what is IMDb?
IMDb, if you don't know, is an acronym that stands for Internet Movie Database, or database if you prefer. And it's basically just a kind of a resource of tracking down what people have done. So if you're looking on it, you're watching your favorite TV show and you say, who's that actor? Or I've seen that face before. It may take a little time, but you can find your way into the actual episode of that television show and figure out who the actor is and figure out why you know them. It's a great resource for the industry out here and in New York, because we can kind of look around and see who's worked with who. It's just a really great resource, kind of an encyclopedia of film and television appearances mostly. And they also put up photographs and demo reels so they can see the work.
Yes.
It's pretty great. I don't know what we did before it. I can't even remember.
True.
It's one of those things. IMDb. Before that, how did you know?
Right.
I guess you relied on casting directors who knew it all. It was all in their head.
Gotcha.
They're amazing, casting directors.
Yes. Because to set this show up, every time I always go to IMDb, I can get all the information that I did, like you said. I can go to places and find things like your website.
Right.
By the way, you got a hell of a website.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
Well worked.
It's my big old scrapbook online. I've got lots of stuff on there. And some actors don't have an online presence. So if they don't have it, IMDb is the alternative.
Yes.
But I've got an online presence. I've tried very hard.
Wow. Your first IMDb credit was back in 1999. You did a show called ATF.
ATF. Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Yeah, I was a bad guy who'd planted a bomb somewhere. I can't remember. The director was a wonderful director named Dean Pariseau, who I worked with later on a film called Fun with Dick and Jane. Remember him better than he probably remembers me, but I think my favorite part of his career credits is that he directed a film called Galaxy Quest, which is probably the best Star Trek movie that was never a Star Trek movie ever made. It's a terrific film. But yeah, the first one was ATF, and it was a pilot episode when it started. It was going to turn into a TV series. Didn't get picked up. Amy Brenneman, Kathy Baker were the stars, and I was a little co-star sitting around in my, I don't know, underwear and a tank top on the couch when the ATF agents come in and tackle me and zip tie my arms, and I say a few things in the middle of getting beaten up. It was fun. It's better to make believe than to actually have it happen.
I've got 15 years on the junket circuit. You know the junket circuit. And I would always ask, my favorite question, I would always ask of a person, in that movie that you did, what was your favorite scene? That was my standard question all the time.
That's a good one. It's sometimes hard. It's sometimes hard to remember because there's so many. It's sort of like asking, what was your favorite conversation with a best friend?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you've got a bunch of them, you're like, wow, I don't know. What was your favorite thing to do at summer camp when you were 10? There's so many things. Thankfully in ATF I can answer that because I only had one scene. So my favorite scene was that one where all the agents come in with their guns and drawn and they concussion grenade, boom, and all of a sudden ears are ringing and I'm arrested and sent to jail where I belong.
Speaking role?
Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent.
I can't remember the lines.
It's okay. Okay.
It's somewhere out there online, I'm sure. But yeah, ATF. I mean, I think I was the first. That was one of the first auditions I had when I came here to Los Angeles with my wife Heather from New York. And I think I had 35 auditions in 3 months, and I thought, this is Mecca. What am I doing in New York? I got to get out here. And that was the one job that came through. So I realized, okay, maybe if I stick around, I can add to the IMDb credits.
Wow. Those junkets, I never forget them. I miss them. It kept me away from my home for a lot of hours, but
I bet it did.
was a lot of fun. You meet and greet, you meet the big ones.
Yeah.
You meet Steven, you meet the little guys, you meet everybody.
It's an incredible concentration of talents and egos in those rooms.
Oh, what you say, Ego.
Well, they're and you think about it on their side, they're doing a junket and they're getting asked the same question 40 times during the course of that day, and that's their big acting job. They have to answer it as though it's the first time, and as though they're not tired of answering it, and as though they don't feel stupid saying the same thing over again. It's all personalities, but yeah, those are something.
Is it in your contract to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, so that's how they got you.
Yeah.
I wondered about
They
that.
grab you in. They say this is part of it. You have to make best efforts to take part in publicity.
What?
Something like that. I've seen that before.
What if you don't do it?
Well, I guess you don't do it then. I guess. I mean, I suspect they kind of hold on to you. They've got a way to do that. I'm not exactly sure. But when the publicist for the play I'm working on right now said, "Hey, here's an opportunity to sit down and talk to Ron," and I was like, "Absolutely, happy to."
Right.
Because that's all. It's not to talk about me. It's to talk about the work that we're doing. To talk about let people know that it's out there. If you don't put a loudspeaker out and say, "Hey, here's what I'm doing," people miss it. So I said, "Yeah, absolutely. Tell me when and where. I'll be there."
Right. We did a lot of junkets over at the Beverly Hills Four Seasons Hotel.
Oh yeah.
They got some of the baddest guacamole.
That's why you did the junkets. You did the junkets for the guacamole. Okay, the truth is that's why we do them. It's because of the food.
Yeah, the food
We're
is
actors.
great.
If you put out free food, we will come like buzzards. We're like cockroaches. Like we're hungry. We'll bring Tupperware and fill up the guacamole and take it home. Very sad people, actors.
Gosh. I mean, we traveled to other hotels in different places, but I used to love to go there. And you never know who you're going to see. You never know. Sitting in the hallway, there's this one, that one. Oh, how you doing? How you doing?
Mm-hmm. They're all around. Well, that's the fun. That's one of the fun things about living in Los Angeles. I'll bump into somebody on the way to the bathroom and just don't freak out. Don't freak out. That's Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
That's Jennifer Aniston.
Yes.
John Lithgow. We almost clocked each other on a plane flight once. We're both tall. Like, yeah, you just run into your heroes. Wow. Sometimes you work with them, too. I love that. Getting a chance to work with the people who got me out of Illinois or got me out of Virginia and made me realize there's a big life out there that I want to lead, which is why you see actors smile, because we're actually doing it.
Yes.
It worked. We're not homeless every year. Yay.
Rob, you something else. You're something
thank
else. 2004, you did Cellular. 2008, you did Eli Stone. Okay. What are the type of roles that you like to look for, that you like to do?
Wow, that's a great question. And I guess I don't really look for them. They kind of come to me. And I like to look at anything that comes across my desk, as if I had a desk. Anything that comes across my plate as a role, as an opportunity. And if I can't quite get my head around it, I like to think, that's my problem. It's not the role's problem. I've got to figure out another way in. So I get cast all over the map. I'm cast as attorneys. I just was in South Dakota last week playing a fishing lodge owner. Thus the kind of crazy hair right now. Attorneys, doctors, psychiatrists. I played mentally challenged people. I've played serial killers, cutting off people's heads. I've played, it's all over the map. So I kind of like to just see who the person is.
Right.
As I talked about, every role written is worth exploring.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's just what you bring to it. And
Is there a role you'll turn down?
I'm waiting for it.
Good
Not
answer.
really.
Yeah.
Not really. I haven't really yet. I turn down roles. I turn down projects when it doesn't resonate for me, or it doesn't feel as strongly written as I was hoping, or I feel like I'm going to be in a room with someone who I kind of don't jive with.
Yeah.
If the role and if the part is challenging, and the people I'm working with are also challenging, that may be too many things in a room to be a little nervous about. So I generally don't turn them down. I did if people say, hey, in this commercial audition, you need to be in a bathing suit, or you're okay being topless, and I say, as long as it's funny,
Right.
because I'm not the guy you're going to have, drinking at the construction site and showing the Coca-Cola and everyone oohing and ahhing. That's just not me. I know who I am. But if it's going to be the schlubby guy, the quarterback going to seed, I can do that. I won't really turn it down unless something just doesn't feel quite right. I use the 5 Ps, and a friend gave this to me. I wish I could tell you who she was. I can't remember now. The 5 Ps when you're looking at something: the part, the play or the project, the place, whether it's a theater or a production company, the people, and the pay. And if you do all 5 of those things, it's a very way of just distilling it down to what's important. And you may only get 2 that are strong in your favor and still do it.
And still do it, yes.
You may get 1 that's really strong and the other 4 suck. Or that's a great way of making decisions. Gotcha. So I guess I try to say yes.
Yes. Is your wife in this business?
She's in the business. She's a recovering actor. She came out here with me we met at Northwestern. So she's smart, which is tough because that means I can't pull things over on her. But she came out here to Los Angeles with me back in 1997, and she was still acting then, and she did it for about 2 years longer. She was a professional kid in New York, so she'd been performing since she was 7 or 8 years old in the ballet. And so she recovered from that and did pretty much everything else in the industry, and she now casts reality television.
Really?
Which is it's really great. She's part writer, she's part psychotherapist, and she's part journalist.
Okay.
Interviews people all over the country, sometimes all over the world. Wow. And usually on Skype, sometimes she's there live.
Yes.
And she's in the industry. She's in the industry enough to be able to say, hey, I'm on the fence about this. Should I do this? And she'll either be able to say, you should definitely do that. Stop running away from that. You should do it. Or you can pass on that. Wow. It's not good enough for you.
If she's your wife and as good as you are, I'd love to have her sitting in that seat.
You'd have a very good conversation with her. She's pretty brilliant.
I'd love this. What's her name, please?
Heather Allen.
Okay. All right. We'll be looking out for Heather.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's out there.
Okay. I noted that you played a wide variety of roles we spoke about, but I did notice something a little bit interesting. Rob, you did a lot of TV series roles. How come?
Why not? I say take the jobs when you can. I think, I jump around between theater and film and television, and used to be commercials when there was a union commercial industry in this city. There's not much so anymore. So I jump around between the different genres, different fields. And I guess TV was, why not? If they're willing to let me play in their playground, I'm there. I love learning about it. That's why I moved to Los Angeles, is to figure out on-camera work.
Sir, I have a thing called the ABCs of school success,
Mm-hmm.
and on the top of that list is the letter A that you have, a good attitude.
Ah.
Attitude will determine your altitude.
That's well said.
Yes.
That's very well said. Well, you kind of have to walk into everything imagining, I think you should walk into everything imagining that it might be the best experience yet.
Glad you're here today.
I'm glad I'm here today, too.
We're going to take a little short break. Got some commercials that I'm going to talk about. We'll come back with veteran actor Rob Nagle.
Thank you,
This
sir.
is The Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. The studio of Harvey Bramman Photography as an Art is proud to offer you a $100 discount off any photo package valued at $300 or more. Now, Harvey's been in the business for nearly a quarter of a century, and he certainly knows how to take care of his customers. So, please give him a call today, if you would. 818-954-9294, 818-954-9294. You'll be glad you did. And by the way, please tell Harvey that you heard about his offer right here on The Actor's Choice. Haiku Style, Passion, Heart is the latest release from actor and attorney Ron Irwin. The book was inspired by the author's first exposure to haiku well over a half-century ago. This experience produced within him a deep passion to experience Asia, which he later did as a U.S. Marine. The book is available in paperback at lulu.com. That's lulu.com. And Irwin says he'll give 20% of net book sales split evenly between the veterans of foreign wars and Vietnam veterans of America. Book to the Future, Time Travel, Message in a Capsule. It's a book by author Larry Buford. It's a historical and faith-based account of how what we do and follow today will affect us tomorrow. The author also calls it an adventure for those who want to travel back through time. The book is available in paperback for only $17.95 from Amazon, so please get your copy today. And now, a word from State Farm agent Carla Green. Roll it, Tony.
Let me ask you something. What do you see when you look at your home and your car? Do you see a bundle? A combo deal? That's how other insurance companies see them. But a State Farm agent sees so much more. Because the State Farm agent sees your home and your car as more than just four walls and four wheels. They see the things you've worked really hard for. So why not give them the protection they deserve? Let me help you with that. Give me a call. State Farm agent Carla Green, 213-239-9675. I look forward to speaking with you.
Want to welcome the new sponsor, an Actor's Space, with classes and private coaching by veteran actor Rob Brownstein. Now, an Actor's Space has Thursday night classes for working actors and Tuesday night foundation and technique classes for early career actors. The idea here is to build on each actor's strengths and who you are to help you refine and reimagine your acting and your career. For more information, please call class at robbrownstein.com or 323-646-1268. That's class at robbrownstein.com or 323-646-1268. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ebony Repertory Theater, in conjunction with the International City Theater, proudly presents for your enjoyment Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill. The play stars the magnificent sound of singer Carol Foreman as she performs Billie Holiday's music February 6th through March the 1st. That's Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill is not to be missed. For more information, please call the ERT at 323-964-9766. That's 323-964-9766. Thank you. Well, if you want to have a good laugh, and I mean a good laugh, then you need to see Shelley Fisher at the Hebrew Hillbilly. That's 50 Shades of Eve. Folks, this is the longest-running solo musical play in the USA. The show will be held at the Santa Monica Playhouse, located at 1211 4th Street in Santa Monica, California. For booking and information, please call 310-344-6410. That's 310-344-6410. Believe me, I've seen this play about a dozen times, and I still go back for more laughs, that is. See you at the Santa Monica Playhouse at 1211 4th Street in Santa Monica, California. Now, ladies and gentlemen, over this past weekend, the 51st NAACP Triple Awards dinner and telecast was held in Pasadena, California. We went there to see the event, and we brought back some videos and some photos. So to see our work, please go to our website located at www.theactorschoicela.org. That's www.theactorschoicela.org. Thank you. And finally, if you have a product, a service, or an upcoming event that you'd like to see advertised on this program, please call 323-533-1036. That's 323-533-1036. Our prices are very affordable. Thank you. This is The Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. Today we have a special guest in-house. We had two guests scheduled for today. Takia Crystal Kamar, she couldn't come in today. She's working today. So we got this handsome young man sitting in our stage with his name.
Takia for you today. You're welcome.
Thank you. Just want to say, okay, back to your thing. You, I heard somewhere in there that there's a brilliant stunt coordinator out there named Robert Nagle.
Robert Nagle is, sometimes people ask, so tell me about the stunts that the cars you drove in that, and it's like, that's not me. I've met him. We had coffee together because we kept getting each other's mail.
Yes.
I'd get a premiere ticket that he was supposed to go to. He'd get a residual check from me. And we finally sat down and met. And he's a fantastic stunt driver and stunt coordinator, Robert Nagle. It's not me. If you want me to drive your car, you won't get it back. But yes, he's great, and sometimes we're mistaken for each other.
Wow.
When you're in the same union, sometimes
Right.
that thing happens, right?
Right.
At least in the same field.
You don't want to get into stunt work, do you?
Oh, I'd love to, but I think I'd kill myself. I don't think I'd last very long. Robert lasts. Rob, maybe not so much.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, one take. You
Yes.
get one take of this jumping off
Yes.
off a building. And then it's over.
Mr. Nagle,
Yes,
you
sir.
came here today to talk about the world premiere of a timely new play called Human Interest Story.
Yes.
Now, they sent with it a nice little video. Can you roll that video for us, my friend Tony?
Stephen Stacks has written a beautiful story that's probably about as current as you can
It
get.
really speaks to humanity. It's all about seeing human beings as human beings.
Anyone who lives in Los Angeles has spent time pulling up to an intersection, looking around, and seeing people in tents and either making eye contact or avoiding making eye contact.
And these people have stories, and they have faces.
This play is putting a face and a real tangibility to those people who are on the street and ignored.
It's a serious issue. Anyone who lives in Los Angeles County can see how the homeless population has exploded. It's an epidemic.
It is fast-paced, it's funny, it's poignant, it's relevant, and it'll make you think, really, honestly, about how you yourself feel and treat people who are homeless.
And I'm spoiler. I'm not going to tell you any more about it because you have to come and see it.
Come see Human Interest Story at the Fountain Theater. It's a story about what makes humans interesting. Opens February 15th.
Okay, that looks, wow, at the Fountain Theater, that looks marvelous. Whew.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real play, isn't it?
It is a real play. It's a beautiful piece. Human Interest Story, written and directed by Stephen Sachs, who's one of the artistic directors there at the
You mean
Fountain.
that handsome guy right there?
That guy right there, that's the guy. That's him. That's Stephen. And I've known Stephen socially around Los Angeles for years, as well as his co-artistic director, Simon Levy. And they do really interesting work for decades. They've been promoting diversity and inclusion, and this is certainly not one that doesn't do that. It was partly inspired by a 1941 Frank Capra film called Meet John Doe, with Barbara Stanwyck and Gary Cooper.
Okay.
Gary Cooper wasn't homeless, he was a hobo in that case, so I guess that makes me Barbara Stanwyck. But it's a play, I've always wanted to be Barbara Stanwyck. It's a play about the corporatization of mass media.
Okay.
It's a play about the homeless crisis in a major city. It's a little bit New York, a little bit Los Angeles, but as you can tell, you drive around the city right now, we've got an explosion, an epidemic of people without homes, and not enough being done, obviously. I don't think we have a housing crisis. We have a low-income housing crisis. The housing's there, you just can't afford it. And the last figures I saw was 552,000 people homeless in this country.
Ooh.
That doesn't mean they're all out on the street, but they're
This
all without
is America?
homes. America right now, 500. Yeah, we're making it great again, right? 552,000 people are homeless in this country. Of the 552,000, over 130,000 are homeless in California alone. And of that number, somewhere between, I've seen figures from 36 to 60,000 people in LA County. So they're us. And I think the play, it examines, it's essentially the story of a journalist who makes a mistake, and he writes an anonymous letter to the editor after he's been fired from his job as his last article. An anonymous letter as a homeless woman who's going to kill herself on the 4th of July in protest. And then it goes viral. And he has to invent her or find her. So it's sort of liberal fake news, essentially, and what can happen as a result of that. And so it deals with poverty, it deals with sexism, it deals with women's rights, it deals with homelessness. And I hope if anything happens by the end of the show, certainly it's happened for me in the rehearsal process and the performances, is that I look at the people on the street in a little different way. Making contact with somebody, talking to someone, even if you don't have money to spare, just having a conversation and letting them be seen makes such a difference in the world. And if we're a Judeo-Christian country, society,
yes,
that's what that promotes. What would Jesus do? And make the world a better place if you're Jewish. So it's part of it. The next time you're driving underneath an overpass and maybe you have some leftovers, maybe there's a reason to stop and hand them over to someone who's hungry. So hopefully we're provoking a conversation, if anything else.
I see sometimes you go at the line between L.A. and say Culver City.
Yes.
They don't do that in Culver City.
No,
not allowed.
Not allowed.
Right.
They're probably packed up and shipped somewhere else and moved around. They're human beings,
Right.
They're just like us. We've all had some tough times, and
Yes,
there's some times when we're like, we don't have an answer. And these are people who don't have an answer, but they could have compassion from us. And, we can't all solve it individually, but we can each take a part to make the world a better place and to find a way to not turn away.
Got you. How did you prepare for this role?
Had to get the words in my head, for one thing. I'm getting up there. I got to remember all those words. I basically walked in the rehearsal room. The text was already interesting enough. The play was already very intriguing to me. I'd done a reading of it last fall with Stephen so we could hear it out loud. And then he cast the heck out of it and got into this group of, there are 7 of us all together. And once I got in the room with the 7 other actors and we started playing around in the script, that's all I needed for preparation. Wow. But I've done a fair amount of just kind of being aware of the world as I'm driving around town and trying to understand how we fix the things that are broken.
Right.
Not just homelessness, but also, the media, free media, the press. The press is, up against the ring right now. They're being punched away in a very tough time where I think it's more important for people to be informed, and it's even harder to be informed correctly, truthfully. Truth doesn't really matter right now. So we've got some challenges for us.
Yes, we do.
And I think just being aware of what's going on in the world has helped me prepare.
Right.
That and some rehearsals and a whole lot of memorization.
Gotcha.
But it's a great group.
It is.
And I love the play. I love just what it says.
I saw a commercial. I'm not going to mention his name, but he's a city councilman here in Los Angeles, and he's running for as county supervisor. And his son is out there.
On the street.
On the street. And he shows that in the commercial.
Yeah. Sometimes we're bleeding hearts, and we go and we're compassionate without worrying about it. Sometimes we're a little judgmental and a little righteous about it. You should be able to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Strong. It's your will. Your willpower is stronger than that addiction. Yes. Your willpower is stronger than that alcoholism or than your dilemma. And until sometimes it hits your family, some of us don't pay attention. Until there's someone in the family who's in trouble. Yeah. You don't actually make a move.
On my way here today, I saw a bunch of them out there, and you just want to stop, give them some. And sometimes they have that pride. They have pride. They sometimes resent. No, don't give me that.
I didn't ask for that.
Right.
I didn't do anything for you.
Right.
I get it. Everyone deals with the crisis in a different way. But yeah, I feel the same way. I want to be respectful, but I also want to engage. Maybe if I don't have $1 to give, I can say, hey, do you need some socks? Or some shoes or a blanket. If I don't have $1 to give, I can say, I'm sorry, I don't. I'm an actor, but what's your name? In Washington, D.C., years ago, 1995,
Okay.
it was snowing, and a guy came out from the one of those old jewelry stores, so he had a nice kind of cover in where he was sleeping, and he came out and waved me into a parking space, and we were broke, really broke at the time, my wife and I. And he came over and said, "Hey, man, I found you a space." I'm like, "Yeah, I actually saw it from the street, but thank you." It's like, "Can you give a brother a little help?" I said, "I can't, man. I'm sorry. I'm too broke right now." He's like, "Come on, man. You got to have something in that wallet. You got to be able to help me out." And I said, "I'm sorry. I really can't help you. I've got nothing right now." It's like, "Brother, you kind of help a brother out." And I said,
Starting to get nasty.
It started to. And I said, "Dude, I'm an actor." And he stopped. He said, "Oh, shit, man. Here, you need some. Can I give you?" And he pulled out a wad of singles and offered me money. And I said, "Leave me my dignity." And I laughed and I said, "Thank you, my friend. Thank you." But I work in a field where, compassion comes in all directions.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Anyway.
Wow. We got a few other video photos. Can you show them other two, Tony? Here's some good friends of yours.
Oh,
yes.
yay.
Yeah, there we go.
Alicia Force.
Okay.
And Tanya Alexander.
Okay. What roles are those two ladies playing?
Alicia plays Megan Tunney. She's sort of my girlfriend at the newspaper. She's a reporter. And Tanya is Jane Doe. Tanya is a woman I meet in the park who decides to become Jane Doe and becomes the spokesperson for a movement.
Okay. Wow. Oh. Now you work in a newspaper office.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. The City Chronicle, which could be a little New York Times, New York Post. It could be L.A. Times.
Yes.
Like all the big papers, they're decimated and being, reporters being fired left and right.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're just downsizing everything.
Yes, and I've noticed that. Yes.
Outsourcing, too.
Right. There's another picture. We had the next slide that we have there. Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. They
There's
call
the
that the Fountain Theater.
That's right.
I love that theater. It's old. It's been around. A lot of people have crossed on that stage.
Yes, they have. Lots of
Wow.
my friends.
A lot of history there.
It's a great place.
Yes.
It's been a lovely place, and they're such good people there. I can't even tell you. I keep wondering. They must be not real. They're too kind.
You talk to management?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they really are. I can't say enough good things.
Nice place to step on that stage.
I feel really lucky.
Yeah.
I feel very fortunate.
You played there before?
No, first time.
Oh, first time.
First time. I've done workshops and readings. I've been in there, seen lots of shows, but
Yes.
first time acting there.
Okay.
Hopefully they'll have me back.
Yes. Can you give us some data, for example? When is the time of the runs?
Sure. We're essentially every week on Friday night and Saturday afternoon and Saturday night at 2 and 8, Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock, and Monday nights. And we're at the Fountain Theater. You can find more information at fountaintheatre.com. The phone number is 323-663-1525. What else can I tell you?
Tickets.
Tickets are available now, and we're running until April 5th at this point. So I don't know how many more weekends that's left, but we're having a good time.
Got you.
Having a great time. It's a good place, and I think it's a good play.
Got you. It's interesting when you say tickets. What's the average price of a ticket in this town?
In this town, in some of the more intimate theaters, the smaller theaters,
Yes.
basically 100 seats or under, you'll have a range from $15 to $45 probably. At the bigger theaters, the Geffen Center Theater Group, Pasadena Playhouse, those tickets can go from probably $35 to $150. So it's not a cheap night out necessarily, but there are also lots of great discount ticket resources out there. I don't know if I should tell you about Gold Star and Today Tix, but
Please.
I never pay full price if I don't have to.
Right.
I want to see more theater.
Right.
So I'll pay a discounted price for those things, but generally you're gonna expect to pay between $20 and $35.
Got you. Because plays like Hamilton.
Yes, you might have to buy a whole subscription to the Pantages to see Hamilton.
Yes.
But they have a new thing that they've been doing lately. Organizations called surge pricing, which if the play's doing well, the ticket price will go up.
Yes.
Based on demand.
Right.
And that's great. It doesn't always happen. That's great for the shows when they're doing very, very well.
Yes.
Might as well help the producer kind of make the money back. But I don't want to be in surge pricing. I don't want to be buying a ticket in surge pricing. I don't mind if I'm in a show that's surge pricing, but I don't want to buy a ticket.
Yes.
That's just me.
We talked about your website, but I want to ask you, I got to say this. Aren't you glad you went to Northwest University? Don't you wish everybody did?
I love Northwestern University. I was very, very proud to go there. They were theater crazy.
Yeah.
When I went and visited as I guess I was a senior in high school to check out the campus, and it felt right.
Yeah.
And there was so many plays. Everyone was producing, both the theater department as well as student organizations. And I thought, well, if I can't get work done here, where can I get work done?
Right.
Yeah, the weather's a little rough on the winters, but I loved it there. And some of my lifelong friendships who are still sometimes hiring me and sometimes working with me were established then, including my wife. I met a lot of friends at Northwestern.
Yes.
It was a good school, good theater school. Really wonderful teachers.
Got you.
Yeah.
We got some school out here too. I call it USC.
Mm-hmm.
Got a great drum department.
They sure do.
Yeah.
Wonderful teachers there as well.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Got a bunch of friends who are there.
Yes. I teach over at Santa Monica College. We've got a nice little theater over there.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. It's a lot of as I go around and talk to people, there's a lot of ways. A lot of people dying to be an actor, and we tell them, "Now listen, did your mother and father agree with you?
Yeah.
Are they going to support you? Because there's going to be some struggling days out there.
There are going to be rough years. There are going to be rough weeks.
Yes.
I talk to some of my students and say it's you got to treat it like it's a drug.
Yes.
You're addicted to this. And what does a drug addict do to get that fix? To get it in the arm? Sorry, I shouldn't do that near a microphone.
That's
it's way
okay.
too much Foley artist there.
That's okay.
What does a drug addict do to get it? Anything. They'll work triple shifts at a restaurant. They'll work for 7 days in a row. They'll do whatever they need to get that fix. And your acting, your creative work, your music, whatever you're doing, is the same thing. You'll find a way to make it work. Sometimes it's going to pay you well. Many times it's going to pay you not so well.
Right.
But it's what you love, and it's not going to kill you as fast as the drugs.
Right.
Might kill your soul,
right.
but it's not going to kill you.
And I must say, and you know this better than I do, it's good to be doing a play when you can't get a TV film or something like that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's also good. I love working in the intimate theater in Los Angeles in the smaller theaters, because the contract is such, our union has organized it, that we can step away when we need to. So last week was this. I opened the show on Saturday night. We did a 2 p.m. matinee together, and then I got on a red eye and flew to Waubay, South Dakota. Waubay, South Dakota. People in South Dakota don't know where Waubay is. I flew to Waubay, South Dakota, and filmed for 5 days, and then flew back on Saturday morning to do a Saturday night show. So I like to do theater and film concurrently, just in different time zones.
Got you.
Yeah, keeps you busy.
When people meet you, what do they say to you? Because you have a very, very familiar face.
Oh, I sometimes get, you look familiar. How do I know you from something? I was like, I don't know. Have we met before? What have you been on? And I'm like, I don't have that time for that conversation. I don't want to go through all my credits that they say no to, because that's just more rejection for an actor.
That's true.
So I'd rather than say, here, just take a look, and maybe Google me. I just kind of divert. But I sometimes get compared. I used to get compared to Ricky Gervais.
Yes.
They'd say, you got that round-faced Ricky Gervais, so I just do his laugh.
When you walk in the door, I said, Ricky's here.
It's Ricky's here. He's probably as snarky as Ricky. And I also get Orson Welles, a young Orson Welles before the Paul Masson. If you can imagine me without a beard.
Oh, yes.
I saw a photo in a book that a biography of his, of him at age 16. And it was one of those like shining Jack Nicholson moments. I looked at it and was like, how did I get into a swim team in Kenosha, Wisconsin in 1953 or something like that? So I get Orson Welles and Ricky Gervais. Wow. I wish I got Brad Pitt and Antonio Banderas, but I guess I have a different look.
Here's my final question, sir.
Yes, sir.
How do you want to be remembered?
Well, I want to be remembered by those who knew me and those who did not, but liked the work that I did, as somebody who not only walked the walk, not only talked the talk, but walked the walk. I think my talent is great to be heralded. I think I want to be remembered as a person of character as well. And I hope that when I'm gone, that those who remember me will feel like I made a difference in their lives. And it's not just as an actor, it's as a storyteller. In stories, we find healing. There's healing in commiseration. There's healing in, same reason you go to church or temple or a mosque. The sermons and the stories are what tell us about who we are and identify us as human beings. And I kind of hope that that's a little bit I've contributed to that human story.
Yes.
I hope. And if not, maybe we get another go around sometime.
Got you. Rob Nagle, we thank you very, very much. May I have your right hand, please?
Absolutely, I'd be a pleasure.
This is my trademark. I give people these silver dollars for good luck. Hold on to that for good luck.
I will.
Thank you.
You know, that means a great deal to me. You'll never know why, but that's great. Thank you.
We'd like you to come back again sometime.
Be happy to.
Indeed. And definitely want to thank Lucy Pollock, publicist.
Thank you, Lucy.
Extraordinary.
She rocks. She's
she
great.
Rocks. She does. She does.
Thank you for this.
Again, my pleasure. Thank you, sir.
A real
Thank
pleasure.
you for coming in today.
Thanks, Ron.
Special thanks to our sponsors, Harvey Brandman, Photography is an Art, Ron Irwin's Haiku, Style, Passion, Heart, Larry Buford's Book to the Future, Time Travel, Message in a Capsule, State Farm agent Carla Green, and Rob Brownstein's Actor Training School and Actor Space. Much thanks to our guest today, actor, stuntman, you're right.
Former stuntman.
Rob Nagle, and of course, special thanks to our ever-growing audience. Be well. We'll see you next time.